Hello and welcome. This is Ray Stendall, and thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of the Napoleon Hill Ezine video newsletter. I'm joined with Judy Williamson from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and we really have a great topic for you today. Judy, how are you doing?
I am doing fine, and I'm so glad we're here again to have this wonderful conversation on our Thanksgiving weekend. It just makes it so extra special.
Absolutely. This is the Friday before the Thanksgiving Day weekend. I'm sure that there are many people around the world thinking about what it is that they're grateful for and what this holiday really means to them.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that jumps out for me when I think about Thanksgiving is I think about the word gratitude. And when I think about the word gratitude, I implicitly, somehow in my mind, think attitude of gratitude. And I think that those of us that are able to maintain a consistent attitude of gratitude tend to be more positive. They tend to have a positive mental attitude, which Napoleon Hill talked at great length about. And I think what's most important to realize is that it's very hard to have a negative mental attitude while you have an attitude of gratitude. The two just go in opposite directions. And I think for those of you watching this weekend, I really want you to take a moment to think about what you're really grateful for across all the different dimensions in your life and really focus on that, because I think sometimes it's quite easy to minimize some of the things that we have in our life and some of the people we have in our life because we are in such pursuit for other things in our life, which is great, but we have to be grateful for what we do have.
That's right. And sometimes those little extra things that we often overlook just give us that little impetus to move forward. Whether it's shoelaces or pumpkin pie or our cats purring, it's something that we can make a list of and be grateful for. One of my practices is, instead of counting sheep when I go to sleep, I like to count the things that I'm grateful for during the day. And, you barely get beyond 10 before you're asleep because you're soothing your mind and you're creating a positive environment for that welcoming sleep for refreshment. And it just makes a big difference. So for anybody that's having some trouble going to sleep, don't think about your worries and your problems. Think about what you're grateful for in your life, and it's going to make a big difference for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can see how I'm going to try that, Judy. That's a great piece of advice.
It works.
Counting what I'm grateful for before going to bed. Now, another thing that I was thinking about here as I was thinking about this topic is I wanted to share with all of you a quote that Napoleon Hill said, and it's going to come back to our discussion that we're going to have here about autosuggestion. And he said that your ability to use the principle of autosuggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. And I was thinking about that statement, Judy, and then I was reading the statement that's in the Ezine this week. Enjoy the here and now. Know that today will be yesterday tomorrow, so do it now. Now, for those of you that are watching and you're hearing these two statements, this presupposes something very important. It presupposes that you know exactly what you want. Mm-hmm. And I know it may sound like a trite expression, do you know what you want? But I have to ask you, and I was talking to Judy before we recorded this, that I really want to emphasize this. Do you know what you really, really want in very clear, absolute detail? Mm-hmm. If I ask you where are you going to be 3 or 4 years from now, 5 years from now, with your family, with your business, with your career, do you have a clear picture? Judy, mm-hmm. What do you think? I think this is pretty important. What do you think?
I think it's of utmost importance. The slogan, "Do it now," was a catchphrase that W. Clement Stone used to use all the time. And I think he probably just used it because he got tired of being asked what someone would come up to him and say, well, what is it I should do? And he just looked at people and he says, well, whatever, do it now. But his whole total message was take action. And Napoleon Hill says, begin, whether you're ready or not, now, to work towards your dream. But that does presuppose a dream. You have to have a destination. And so how do you arrive at that destination? You have to create a clear mental image. You have to give yourself a path through your journey. You have to give yourself a timeline, and you have to give yourself a date for completion. It's like a personalized contract with ourselves. And so if we have no idea where we're going, doesn't matter if we ever get there. And so, as you said, what you presuppose is needed, a desire and a willingness to meet that dream, is absolutely essential. Otherwise, it doesn't make any difference where you're going.
You absolutely said something very important here. You have to have that image. And I want to just do a quick little exercise with our viewers, and I think you're going to like it. Viewers at home, when I snap my fingers, I want you to think of what I suggest for you to think of. Are you ready? Here we go. Imagine your kitchen. Imagine your car, your mother, your father, any children you have. Now, you know what's really interesting when you do that exercise? If you do this exercise and play along with me, a picture on the screen of the mind just pops up. Kitchen, door, car, children, parents. You have an image that comes on the screen of your mind. This image is how you relate to what I just mentioned, or the label that I gave to something. We call it a car. It happens to have 4 wheels and it looks like a box that moves. We call that a car, and we associate that with an image. Now, if you don't have an image in your mind for what it is that you want and where you're going, you cannot relate to that concept. If you can't relate to that concept, it becomes very hard for you to become emotionally involved in something that you cannot conceptualize or really see in your mind's eye. So that's why you hear many people talking about, and Napoleon Hill talks at great length, of course, about the whole idea of being able to get very clear about what you want and then to impress upon your subconscious mind what it is you want, using all of your senses to really emotionalize the idea. And many people, Judy, I've come across, they tell me they know what they want, but they're not emotionally involved in what they want, and therefore it's quite it's not very likely that they're going to get what they want.
It's mundane. They're on an even keel, and they don't, they do not know how to use enthusiasm, even controlled enthusiasm, to kick it up a notch. And Napoleon Hill talks about all these techniques and all his wonderful materials in Think and Grow Rich and in the Science of Success course and everything. But until we understand how to put them into operation and use them in our lives, they're just words on a page. And people say, well, if I recite this recipe or I recite this chant or I do this process, is it going to get me to where I want to be? No, it's not. It's not going to get you to where you want to be until you can see it in your mind's eye. And until you can feel it emotionally, until you can reach that peak or that epitome of desire to take you over to the next level. It's not going to happen. And you have to, some people say, well, that's just a mind game. Well, yeah, it is. It's a mind game, but you have to play it with yourself so that you can work your enthusiasm up to bridge that gap, and everything that Napoleon Hill talks about, from the 6 steps to riches and Think and Grow Rich, to the unseen guides, to our imaginary counselors. Those are all mind games, but that's what we are. That's our essence, and we need to learn to use the tools that we have. Otherwise, we get what we have, I guess.
Well, it's these mind games that really put us in touch with our higher version of who we are. Exactly. just to share a funny story. When I was a kid, I would vacation with my parents in Florida, and there was I wanted a hat in this store, and this was a picture of a Corvette on the hat, okay? It was this kind of goldy colored, like older model Corvette. I mean, it looked cool back then, and I wanted it, so I had this hat. I wouldn't wear a picture of the car on my head right now, but anyhow, I bought this hat, and it stayed in a drawer for a number of years. And at some point, I got reinterested in Corvettes as a car, and then I bought a Corvette. And I was thinking to myself, where did this seed come from? Where can I trace it back? Because from the time that I got the hat to when I actually bought the car, I went through various phases of appreciating different other kinds of cars, and I really didn't even have it in my mind to get that kind of a car. But once I got it, I wanted to try and figure out, where did that seed come from? So I bring this up to just show you how powerful autosuggestion can be. Never mind, if I would have meditated on that car over a period of time, I probably would have happened to get it quicker. But I just wanted to show those of you that are watching at home that this is powerful material if you apply it.
Mm-hmm. It's like, my husband and I are looking to build another house in Kentucky, for our retirement years. And he keeps saying, "What did you find a house plan you like? I said, "No, I haven't found it." And then all of a sudden I came on one that I just knew was it. And I shared it with him. And he says, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, I do know. That's it." But when you recognize it, when it appears in front of you and you say, "That's what's inside my mind's eye, and there it is," I know that's the perfect, the picture perfect end result, they call it.
Right.
And that's what we're striving toward, whether it's a Corvette or a house or a new wardrobe. When you see it, you'll recognize it because you have those images inside of you and you bring them forth.
Another example, when I went to business school, in the business school that I went to in Canada, we had to go through this 2 years of basically proving ourselves before we could apply to finish the degree in an additional 2 more years. And that's all I thought about. I daydreamed about it. I thought about it. I meditated about it. I had my grades on the wall in my living room. I did everything about that. And even before that in high school, I remember being on a boat up in northern Canada with my best friend and my dad. We're screaming from the top of our lungs that we had graduated from this business school. It sounds kind of funny, I know, but you know what? Those are the things that I want you to find in your life that help sustain you through the ups and the downs. It's that clarity of vision and really backing it up with action. So just a couple stories.
It's those little images, Ray. And as you were talking, one came to my mind. And I was a student of English literature, and I took a lot of classes as an undergrad that were graduate level courses because we were able to do that. And one of the comments, one of my instructors wrote on, we used to take exams in those blue little exam books. And it was just one comment at the top of the page that saw me through the rest of my career in that area was best in the class, grad or undergrad. So, like I was sitting there as an undergrad and I had a higher grade than the graduates in the class, and it just solidified a lot for me. And it made me feel really good. She didn't have to write a paragraph, she wrote a sentence. And, that sentence was worth everything to me at that time.
Makes all the difference in the world.
Yes,
Indeed.
it does. Yes, it does.
Well, Judy, this has been another exciting episode. I'm so happy to do these videos with you, and we've received a lot of positive comments so far, so that's great.
Well, I hope we're making some difference for the people that are watching them, and I hope we're giving them at least some kernels of some new ideas to think about. And as you said in the last video, our world is in such dire shape, not only in our nation but globally, that we need all the positive mental attitude techniques that we can get to acquire within ourselves and for the world so that we can begin to make those changes that are essential. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be. So we have to keep at it. We have a worthy mission.
We do. We do have a worthy mission. And so with that, we'd like to encourage all of you to share this video, share this newsletter, share it with your friends, with your family. I know we mentioned that at the bottom of each video, but it's so important to get these ideas out, to get this message out as far and wide as we can, because this message needs to be heard. And if you can help us share it, you're going to really impact a lot of people as we continue to ramp up and do more of these videos and share more valuable content.
Right, and no more complaining about the bad news. This is the good news report. So we want to have good news out there, and that's what we're aiming for.
That's right. That's what we're doing. So till our next episode, Judy, thank you so much, and we will look forward to sharing more videos with you all.
Well, thank you, Ray.
Thank you.